From playdate giggles to public side-eyes. Remember that grainy clip where toddler Jules is wobbling across Beyoncé's living room rug while Auntie Bay, draped in a sparkly gold mini, scoops him up and spins him around? It melts hearts every Mother's Day when Solange's son reposts the moment, proof that once upon a time the Knowles sisters moved as a single heartbeat, but scroll forward and the vibe feels fractured. Concert cameos are rare, award show shoutouts even rarer, and the internet is convinced a silent storm now hovers between the two Houston powerhouses. So what happened? Buckle up, because this story zigzags from childhood bedrooms to boardroom betrayals, from elevator cameras to courtroom headlines, and every twist pulls us deeper into one of pop culture's most compelling sister sagas. 1. Sisters in Sync. Long before hashtags or Hive terminology, there were just two Texas girls sharing the same bedroom and the same outsized dreams. Tiny Beyoncé, already belting out Anita Baker runs at block parties, treated 5-year younger Solange like fragile porcelain. Tina tells the classic tale of her eldest marching the Destiny's Child teens into Solange's elementary school, warning a pint-sized bully. Mess with her again, and the whole group shows up. Those protective instincts hardened into steel as fame exploded. By the early 2000s, Beyoncé toured the globe, while Solange, writing hooks for DC albums, played Shadow and Student, publicly calling her sister "my living masterclass." Critics raved about how Solange's 2012 True EP braided soul and synth in ways only someone who'd witnessed mega fame up close could attempt. Back then, the sisters felt indivisible, a two-woman force field ready to shoulder any punch the industry threw. Yet alongside that fairy tale glow were faint hairline fractures. Solo's first label push collapsed. Her early marriage crumbled at 23. Insiders whispered that living under pop's brightest spotlight blurred Solange's own artistic identity. But outwardly, the bond held. Grammy carpets, award tributes, even school-run selfies, all radiated ride-or-die energy. Viewers saw harmony. Only the family knew how thin the ice might already be. But that ice would shatter in the unlikeliest of places. An elevator built for 15 people and one staggering revelation. If Beyoncé's career resembles a galactic supernova, stadium-sized, merch-plastered, visually immaculate, Solange's path feels more like an indie film shot on 16mm. Grainy, experimental, defiantly niche. After 2016's Ace seat at the table topped the Billboard 200, Solo pivoted from mainstream festivals to art museums, installing performance pieces at the Guggenheim and partnering with avant fashion houses. Meanwhile, Beyoncé telescoped into ever grander scale. Coachella's historic Homecoming, the global Renaissance juggernaut, and 2025's Cowboy Carter rodeo that turned Blue Ivy into halftime MVP. Fans noticed, though, that Solange never once hopped on stage during the 56-city Renaissance run, despite cheering from the audience in Landover. Then came Cowboy Carter, a yeehaw meets house music spectacle tailor-made for Solange's genre-blurring aesthetic. Yet her name never hit the program. Insiders hinted at scheduling conflicts. Skeptics smelled frost. Whatever the reason, the visual was stark. Two artists, one surname, orbiting in different solar systems. That divergence bled into branding too. Beyoncé's Parkwood Empire inks Pepsi deals and film soundtracks. Solange's Saint Eran Collective stages free-form workshops for Black emerging poets. Same DNA, different destinies, and each new endeavor seemed to widen the interpretive chasm between B and Solo. Still, business differences alone don't rupture blood ties. Enter the Jay-Z factor and whispers that old wounds were never really stitched. Call it the unspoken third rail. Dating back to the Lemonade era, rumors swirled that Jay-Z's wandering eye rattled the marriage and Solange's patience. Elevator Night only deepened the lore. Fast forward to December 2024, when a decades-old assault allegation surfaces against Jay and his on-again collaborator, Diddy. Tabloids explode. Lawyers cry blackmail. The Bayhive circles wagons. Page 6 quotes a source insisting Solange is supporting her sister no matter what. Yet fans read between the lines. Supportive of Beyoncé doesn't necessarily mean forgiving of Jay. That distinction matters. Friends say Solange loves fiercely and draws swords quickly when loved ones look hurt. To her, any fresh scandal drags Beyoncé through unnecessary mud. Watching her big sis choose partnership over distance reportedly stokes embers of frustration. Toss in social media detectives compiling side-eye gifs every time Jay's name leaves Solange's lips, and the narrative writes itself. Protective little sister still side-eyeing her brother-in-law. Whether that tension erupts privately or not, each headline about lawsuits or late-night club photos feels like a reopened scab on the Knowles Carter story. And just when you think the drama is limited to in-laws, the family's own corridors echo with whispers of favoritism. Tina Knowles earned pop culture sainthood for crafting Destiny's Child costumes at the kitchen table. Yet in a candid 2025 Guardian interview, Mama Tina chuckled that her daughters tell me off all the time. Proof the matriarch occasionally steps on diva toes. For years, gossip blogs hinted Tina lavished more public praise on Beyoncé while presenting Solange as the artsy outlier. Add rumors that Solange co-wrote hooks on early DC records without full recognition, and you get simmering side talk about undervalued labor. It doesn't help that award bodies often forget Solange's contributions, or that Grammy telecast producers still pronounce her name wrong. Viewers projected those slights onto the sisters' bond. Did Beyoncé fight hard enough for Solo's credit? Did Solange resent the halo effect Beyoncé seemed born with? True or not, such questions ballooned in the digital echo chamber, where nuance rarely survives the screenshot. Meanwhile, the sisters themselves rarely address the chatter. Beyoncé files silence under "Protect the brand." Solange prefers cryptic poetry over press releases. The result? A rumor vacuum that fans rush to fill, each reading meaning into every like, follow, or missing birthday post. Speaking of missing posts, one on-air omission at the Grammys became a lightning rod all its own. February 5th, 2023. Beyoncé steps to the Crypto.com arena mic to claim a record-shattering 30-second Grammy. She thanks God, Uncle Johnny, her parents, Jay-Z, 3 kids, the queer community, basically a village. Twitter instantly notices the absence of one name, Solange. Within minutes, "Where's Solo?" trends. A Reddit thread clocks 10K upvotes dissecting whether the omission was accidental, strategic, or downright shady. Solange, radio silence. No congratulatory tweet, no Instagram story, no backstage selfie, nothing. Later that summer, she posts abstract art captions about protecting sacred spaces, fueling another wildfire of interpretation. Is she shading Beyoncé? Tending mental health? Writing a new album? No answer emerges, and that vacuum only amplifies suspicions. Digital clues keep piling. Beyoncé's birthday concert shoutouts, parents, Destiny's Child sisters, even Blue Ivy's dance captain. Skip Solange again. The pattern crystallizes. On record-breaking nights, Solo's name fades into the wings. For fans hyper-tuned to every Easter egg in Bey's visuals, that silence screams louder than words. Yet physical distance doesn't tell the whole story. Sometimes absence centers on the next generation. Beyoncé guards her twins, Sir and Rumi, like crown jewels. Candid photos are rarer than lunar eclipses. That secrecy inadvertently sparked rumors that Solange rarely sees her niece and nephew. When paparazzi failed to spot Aunt Solo at the Renaissance Kitty dance rehearsals, or later at Cowboy Carter dress runs, speculation ballooned. Did Beyoncé ice her out? Digging deeper, fans linked the theory to ideological rifts, noting Solange's vocal solidarity with Palestine, while Beyoncé remained diplomatically quiet during Gaza protests. In an era where activism equals identity, the sisters' differing volumes on geopolitical issues look, to some, like philosophical distance. Of course, private family moments rarely hit explore pages. Insiders insist Solange pops into the Carter compound often, just phone-free. Still, optics matter, and every time a viral TikTok claims Solo declined a concert invite, the narrative that Auntie's gone AWOL picks up fresh wind. Then, just when the story feels set in stone, the timeline flashes with tiny signals that the bond still breathes. Mother's Day, 2025. Solange's son Jules drops an Instagram story carousel, baby photos in Beyoncé's arms, glam selfies with Grandma Tina, sweet captions about familial strength. 6 months earlier, Solo filmed Beyoncé and Blue Ivy twirling on a Maryland stage, overlaying the words, "Forever in Awe." And December 2024's Page 6 scoop quoted insiders who swore Solange was texting Beyoncé daily while Jay's legal team wrestled its assault case. Are these isolated PR blips or evidence of a sisterhood quietly intact? Maybe a bit of both. Fame forces siblings to schedule affection. Creative independence means overlapping calendars narrow to slivers. The public might crave joint selfies. The Knowles sisters might simply prefer low-key lunches no one sees. What is clear is that neither woman has publicly trashed the other. No tell-all interviews, no subtweets, no sources close to Solange dropping venom. Instead, we get sporadic but glowing signals, like fractured Morse code, spelling, "Love you, mean it, just busy." Silent likes and cryptic captions may fuel the rumor mill, but Tina Knowles' May 2025 podcast appearance gave fans a rare flashlight into the family's back office. She revealed that when Beyoncé was 12 and Solange just 7, the sisters were already stewing in the first sparks of competition, so Tina marched them straight to therapy. "I started seeing this separation and said, 'Oh no, we're fixing it now.'" She laughed, adding that weekly sessions taught the girls to use "I feel" language long before it trended on TikTok. Those early couch conversations never really stopped. Multiple insiders say the Knowles women still keep the same Houston-based counselor on retainer, calling in for emergency Zoom sit-downs whenever press cycles get fiery. Like the week the 2024 Jay-Z assault lawsuit hit tabloids. If Section 8 showed us flickers of goodwill, Section 9 explains how they stay lit. Scheduled check-ins, strict boundary rules, no work talk on birthdays, no social posts when feelings run high, and a family group chat muted by default so nobody fires off heat-of-the-moment daggers. Tina's blunt summary? You can love somebody to pieces and still need a referee. But even therapy can't compete with the biggest referee of all, public opinion, especially when millions of viewers wait for the next close-up. If Queen Bee has mastered the stadium stage, she's just as deft at the editing bay. Rumor Central, read, Reddit sleuths and entertainment lawyers who can't name sources, claims Netflix's third project in Beyoncé's multi-picture deal will drop in early 2026, an insider look at the Renaissance and Cowboy Carter eras that might finally place Solange back in the frame. Netflix's own Tudum blog has already primed fans with a Beyoncé tour through your queue, stoking speculation that something fresh is brewing behind the paywall. Whether a dual sister feature materializes or not, both women understand narrative architecture better than most Hollywood showrunners. They watched an elevator video rewrite their family mythology in 48 hours. They've since built airtight NDAs, curated social feeds, and, crucially, chosen absence as a storytelling device. Remember that rare 2017 interview magazine, Q&A, where Beyoncé interviewed Solange? Media scholars still teach it as a case study in image sovereignty. Looking ahead, industry chatter points to a 2025 to 26 window where paths could intersect on camera. Beyoncé's rumored halftime special sequel, Solange's Saint Laurent film anthology, and, if whispers ring true, a Knowles sisters sit-down produced by their own Parkwood and Saint Laurent teams. Whether it lands on Netflix or their private platforms, the takeaway is clear. The narrative will move only when and how the sisters decree. For fans, that means the wait for on-screen reconciliation could be months or minutes. From therapy couches to streaming rollouts, the Knowles sisters keep reminding us that blood, business, and boundaries are never simple. And that's exactly where we pick back up in the final reflection that follows. Peel back the tabloid varnish and one truth flickers. Every family wrestles with seasons of togetherness and apartness. Fame just turns the dimmer switch into a spotlight. Beyoncé and Solange grew up sharing hairbrushes, lyrics, and secrets. Now they share a last name while steering empires that rarely cruise the same highway. Does that mean the bond is broken? Or simply evolving under pressures most of us can't fathom? Here's the bottom line. Fame magnifies every crossed arm, every missing Instagram tag, every unspoken thank you. Whether the Knowles sisters are navigating a real feud or just crafting healthy adult boundaries, only they know for sure. But the clues we've traced, from elevator sparks to Mother's Day flashbacks, suggest the story isn't finished. So what do you think? Are Beyoncé and Solange growing apart? Or are we just reading drama into a perfectly normal sibling dynamic? Drop your theories below. Because if the Knowles sisters have taught us anything, it's that the narrative is never as simple as the headlines.